Hi everyone, so today I'm going to be interviewed by an Amazon SDE. So this will be exactly like your real Amazon interview. This is the difficulty level that you can expect sometimes. And yeah, I have already given the interview. It was pretty well, but the question was tricky. I would not say it was difficult. It was very basic question, but it was tricky. So it was slight variation of the very famous problem that we do. So make sure that you watch the complete video if you are preparing for Amazon or Microsoft. And yes, even if you find it difficult, do follow along throughout the video and you will be able to see that it was just a slight trick that I applied and I was able to tackle the problem. Okay? So watch the complete video. If you feel that the speed is slow, you can increase the speed to 1.5x. Make sure that you like the video and I will keep creating such content for you.
Hey Fraz, very good evening. How are you feeling?
I'm good, I'm good.
Yeah, that's great. So today we are going to take your mock PSA interview. So I would be giving you one question, and if you are able to solve it quickly, then we can come up with some another question. But mostly I'm going to focus only on one question for now, and you will be given around 30 to 40 minutes to solve this question. So are you good? Are we good to start?
Yes, yes.
Cool. So as you can see, this is the doc link that I've already shared. So I would be pasting the question, right? Feel free to ask me any question if you have any doubts regarding this question. I would be walking into the question anyway. So here goes the question. Just a second. Copy and paste it. Cool. So I hope you are able to see the question, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So the question says that you have been given an n into n binary matrix grid. So basically binary as in the grid will either contain a 0 or it will contain a 1, right? And you are allowed to change at most 0 to be 1, right? So basically what I'm trying to say is, like, you can pick any of the zeros and you can change it to 1. Now the question is that why would you do such an operation? The goal over here is to return the size of the largest island in the grid after applying this operation. Now what is an island? What do I mean by an island? So let's say this is a grid. So let's say that, let me paste a grid so that you're able to understand. So by the way, this will be the input variable. So let's say this is a grid. Let's say 1 0 1 1 0 0, right? So in this case, what you see is so like it's basically this particular is an island, right? This is because these are connected together. So now the size of this island, right? Because like island is a 4 directionally connected group of ones. So therefore the size of this island is going to be 4, right? Over here the size of the island is going to be only 1, right? And over here the size of the island is also going to be 1, right? So you can see that for now.
I have a doubt here. Like you mentioned that the size is going to be for this. The size is going to be 4, but I think we can even include this into this island, right? Because it is.
Yeah. So sorry. The size is going to be 6 in this case. I'm very sorry.
Yes.
So this is going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So they're all connected. Sorry, very sorry for that. And now what you can do is we already have, let's say, the max size as 6, but like let's say this thing was not there, then what would have been the answer? The answer would have been 6, right? But now with this thing being there, where I am allowed to change a particular 0 to 1, then in that case either you can change this 0 to 1, right? So that will give you an answer of 7, right? Or you can change this 0 to 1, that will also give you an answer of 7, or you can change this 0 to 1, right? So you have to return the maximum size after you have performed such an operation. So that is what it will return. Maybe I can help you with a couple of other test cases. Like for this test case, let's say for this test case 1 1 1 0, the answer is going to be 3. Its answer is going to be 4, because you can change the last 0 to 1 and like the maximum size can be 4. Have any doubts?
अब ज़रा छोटा सा ब्रेक लेते हैं आगे बढ़ने से पहले। मुझे पता है आप लोगों में से बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे हैं जो कि प्रोजेक्ट्स को लेकर के परेशान हैं। डीएसए तो आप लोग कर रहे हैं लेकिन प्रोजेक्ट्स आपके रेज्यूमे में नहीं है। तो यार आप लोगों के लिए एक बहुत ही सिंपल सा सॉल्यूशन यहाँ पर है। आपको एक फ्री पीडीएफ मिल जाएगी डिस्क्रिप्शन में जाकर के। अ बिग शाउट आउट टू cryo.do फॉर द पीडीएफ। वहाँ पर जाके आपको इंटरेस्टिंग इजी प्रोजेक्ट्स मिल जाएंगे, बट काफ़ी क्रिएटिव प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं। सो यू कैन मेक दोज प्रोजेक्ट्स। उसमें आपको थोड़ी सी डेवलपमेंट स्किल चाहिए होगी। यू कैन मेक दोज प्रोजेक्ट्स एंड पुट इट इन योर रिज्यूमे। पूरा का पूरा आपको गाइड वहाँ पर मिल जाएगा। और अगर आपको डेवलपमेंट स्क्रैच से सीखनी है देन cryo.do के पास बहुत ही अच्छे कोर्सेज हैं। इन कोर्सेज की स्पेशलिटी ये है कि यार ये कोर्सेज आप लोग को सिर्फ वीडियो एडिटोरियल्स दे के नहीं सिखाते हैं, बल्कि आपको रियल वर्ल्ड प्रोजेक्ट्स पे, जैसे जिस तरीके के प्रोजेक्ट्स में मैं काम करता हूँ, बाकी इंजीनियर्स काम करते हैं, उसी तरीके के प्रोजेक्ट्स पे काम कराया जाता है, बिल्कुल रियल वर्ल्ड डेवलपर लाइक एनवायरनमेंट में। एंड एट द एंड ऑफ द प्रोग्राम आपके पास अच्छे अच्छे प्रोजेक्ट्स होते हैं अपने रिज्यूमे में, आपके पास स्किल सेट होता है बहुत अच्छा। ओके, यहाँ पर मेनली आपके 3 प्रोग्राम है। सबसे पहले तो यार यहाँ पर एक प्रोग्राम है प्लेसमेंट गारंटी वाला प्रोग्राम, जहाँ पर हम लोग का 9 मंथ्स का प्रोग्राम है, पूरा प्लेसमेंट रेडी किया जाता है, इंटरव्यूज भी शेड्यूल कराए जाते हैं एंड आपको प्लेसमेंट गारंटी मिलती है। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट यहाँ पर 2 डेवलपमेंट के प्रोग्राम है, वन इज फुल स्टैक डेवलपमेंट, वन इज बैक एंड डेवलपमेंट। तो फुल स्टैक डेवलपमेंट में आप लोगों को HTML CSS बिल्कुल स्क्रैच से सिखाया जाएगा, जावा स्क्रिप्ट, देन Node.js, पूरा स्क्रैच से ये सारी चीज़ें सिखाई जाएंगी। बैकएंड में आप लोगों का जो फ्रेमवर्क है दैट इज स्प्रिंग बूट, इसके लिए आपको जावा सिखाया जाएगा, AWS सिखाया जाएगा, बहुत सारे और भी प्री रिक्विजिट जो होते हैं वो सारे के सारे सिखाए जाएंगे। तो यार ये 3 प्रोग्राम है, अगर आप लोग को अच्छे लगते हैं यू कैन डेफिनेटली चेक देम आउट। बाकी लिंक मैंने आपको नीचे डिस्क्रिप्शन में दे दी है, जहाँ से आपको डिस्काउंट्स मिल जाएंगे। तो यार अब हम लोग आगे बढ़ते हैं और अपना इंटरव्यू कंटिन्यू रखते हैं। No, I think I'm clear with the question. So basically I can make at most one change. I can change at most 1 0 to 1, and then I need to find the size of the largest island present here, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay. So what I'm thinking is sometimes it might be possible that let's say I have an island of size 5, it might be possible to make it an island of size 6. And in other cases it might be possible that we can eventually end up connecting 2 islands. There are 2 islands, so they both have certain size, and then with the help of one more one, we will be able to create a bridge between them, and then again the size of the island would be maximized in that case. So these are the 2 scenarios which I can, these are 2 scenarios which I can think of as of now. What I am thinking is basically I can apply a DFS, a depth first search, and eventually using depth first search I will be able to calculate the size of a particular island. Similarly, I will be able to calculate the size of all the islands present here. So let us say during DFS, let's say I'm applying DFS there, and with DFS I am taking a flag. That flag basically denotes that whether or not I have used that one move which is given to me. Okay, and while applying DFS, I will be going to 4 directions. From a certain cell I will be going to 4 directions using DFS. So let's say if I reach to a cell and that cell is not 1, if it is 1 then it's perfectly fine. If it is not 1, then I might change it to 1 using that move and then proceed ahead in the DFS calls which I am making, so that I will be able to calculate the size of that island. So that's what I'm thinking to do. I'm going to write a normal DFS function to calculate the size of the island, and in that DFS function I will send one more flag, one extra flag that will denote that whether or not I have used my given move. So as soon as I end up on a grid containing 0, on a cell containing 0, I should ideally return from here, because this is not the place I should be going to. I'm counting all the ones, connected ones. So I should not be going to a place which contains 0, but let's say if I have a move, which obviously the flag which I'm passing is denoting me whether or not I have a move. So if I have a move, I can convert that 0 to 1 and then I can proceed ahead in the DFS call. But later on in the DFS calls, I will not be able to make any other change, because move could only be used once. So this is what I'm thinking, and this way I think I will be able to calculate. But then there are few problems here. So during DFS I basically mark the cells as visited so that I don't go back again to those cells, right? Yeah. So let's say by using a particular move I create a bridge between 2 islands and then I visit those islands. Okay,
Right, exactly.
I visit those islands and then mark them visited. And then the next time, let's say I am going to another island and starting my DFS from there, and in that case I will not be able to make a bridge between the island which I am visiting and the already visited island, which might give me a better answer in future, right? Okay. So, can you give me the constraints here? What are going to be the constraints of this grid here?
So you can consider the constraints to be somewhere around, like not very large, somewhere around 500 or 600. So like for the value of n. So the total elements will be somewhere around 500 to 500. Yeah, you can do the calculations.
That makes it okay. All right, all right. Let me just think of it. So,
Sure.
this approach, or I will have to mark them unvisited. So, each of the DFS call which I am making can lead me to n square, which is 10 raised to the power 4, and then I can have how many such DFSs? I can have basically okay, that case it is going to give me a TLE because that will lead to 10 raised to the power 8. So each of the DFS is going to take 10 raised to the power 4.
Right.
And then if I apply DFS from each cell, we have 10 raised to the power 4 cells. So that leads to 10 raised to the power 8 complexity, which obviously we do not want. So let me think of another solution then.
Right. Also consider this case, that like what if all the cells are already 1. So in that case there is no 0 at all. So
Yeah.
like what will you do in such a case? Because the answer for this should ideally be 4, right? So
Yeah.
also consider this case as well. Just a heads up.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. All right. So if I individually count the sizes of all the islands given to me, and then it might be possible. Obviously, it is possible to take a +1 to that size. Let's say I have 4 islands. All those islands are of size. Let's say not able to type here. I think I don't have the access, edit access. I'm requesting it.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, I have requested the edit access. Yeah, can you give it to me? Yeah, so I am saying that let's say I have several islands of certain sizes. Obviously, I can do a +1 to those. That's okay, very well handled. Then the bridge between two islands. That's what I need to tackle here.
Just a second. I have given the access. Can you check? Also paste in the chat.
So I don't think I have the access. Maybe I need to refresh it. Yes, I have the access now. Yeah. Okay, so let's say I have an island of size 7 and 6 and then 4 and then 2. Okay. So what I'm thinking is basically to create a bridge between these two islands, any of the two islands here. Would it be possible to change a cell and then create a bridge between 3 islands? I don't think it will be possible. Yeah, it will not be possible to connect 3 islands using a single conversion from 0 to 1. We can at most connect 2 islands.
Are you sure on that, or do you think you can connect more than 2 islands, or sometimes maybe 3 or more than that? What do you think?
Oh yeah,
Just
we
think
can
on that.
actually connect. Yeah, we can actually connect 4 islands as well, because let's say those 4 islands are diagonally connected and then there's a single cell which is 0 and I can change it to 1.
Right.
4 islands could be connected as well. Yeah. Okay. So all right. Great. So let us do one thing. Let us try to find out separately all the islands. Okay. and calculate the size of all the islands. Calculate the size of all the islands and mark the size of all the islands on the cells of those islands. Okay. So
Okay, but
let's
how
say,
would you understand? Let's say you start with one, right? This one. So the size of this cell would be ideally be 4, right? According to your, it's not 4. It should be 6, right? Ideally, according to your algorithm. But you won't know, right, that it is 6 when you start. You will only know it probably when you come somewhere over here or somewhere over here, right? So how
correct,
do you get
correct.
that?
We can basically run a DFS twice. Yes, that's not an issue. Like once I run to calculate it, then I can rerun the DFS to just mark all the cells with the size. I'm just keeping the size so that it is a bit simpler later.
Okay, but again, you would be marking it as visited, right? So would that make it a bit complex?
All right, so let's not mark the sizes then. We can mark them visited, but then keep an identity of all these. But for that, we will have to use extra space there. We can use extra space as a trade-off here.
Yeah,
So
you can. There's no issue.
yeah, so basically what I will be doing is while I'm applying a DFS and figuring out the size of a particular island on which I'm currently standing on, I will keep storing the positions, all these positions, okay, inside a container, and then I will know that how many cells are there in this island. That means what's the size of this island, right?
Right. No, like, can you come again? I didn't really get what you're trying to say. They're saying that you would like keep track of all the positions in the DFS or something like that?
Yeah, I'm saying basically I will keep track of all the positions, all the cells which are there in this island. For that I will need extra space
Okay.
to store it.
Why do you need to keep track of all the sets? Like, how is it helping you? How that data is helping you?
So basically after that I will be going to each of the cells which are 0 and I will make them 1 and I will basically see that what all islands are connected to this particular cell. Okay, let's say there are 3 islands connected, one on this side, one on the top and one on the left. So in that case I will add the size of those three islands.
No, that's fine. That's fine. But what I'm trying to say is, like, how would you? Why do you need to maintain the row and column number? I mean, you need the size, right, for that? Is row and column number?
Because let's say I'm on a particular cell of the grid and I need to explore the 4 directions. I'm converting it. It is a 0 cell. I'm converting it to 1, and I need to check on all the 4 directions whether there are
Right.
whether there are islands and what are the size of those islands. So either I need to know the size of those islands, or I need to basically keep the size there itself. That's the approach which I was initially following.
Right. So, so which is the better approach? What do you think? Like, do you want to go forward by keeping just storing the size? Because you already saw a drawback with that. So maybe like you want to still go on with that, or maybe you have a better way of implementing that, or maybe you want to just store the size. How do you want to do it? Like I now want to focus more on how would you store the size so that you get it at one go whenever you're changing 0 to 1 and then exploring the size.
Okay. So I think the earlier one was much better, because why would we want to have some extra space when we can do it in a like at the end we are just marking them visited, right? So instead of marking them visited with any random value, we can mark them visited with the size itself. So one DFS would be to calculate the size, the other DFS would be to mark them all with a certain number. I don't think it is going to affect us in terms of complexity also.
Okay, so you are saying that first you will do a DFS, right? And then if you won't mark the cells, right? And
I will mark the cell.
you
I will
won't
mark
be
the
giving a
cell.
visitor area.
I will be giving a visited array. I will mark all the cells. I will with any random number, so that I don't visit them again. But next time I will do again a DFS on this one with another DFS function, of course, and then mark them with the size.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So let's keep it to this. So basically, you are saying that you would be tracking the size. Okay. Got it. Okay. Okay. Move ahead. We'll come back to this later to see if we can probably do a better implementation. But yeah, for now it's fine. Please go ahead.
Alright, so we have all the islands and we have the sizes of all the islands on each cell of the island, right?
Right.
Now
Right.
we will go to each of the cells which contain 0. So these are the options for us, and we can convert them to 1. So I will see that which out of these is the best option. So how would I calculate it? So basically, let's say if I mark if I go to a cell which is 0, I will mark that as 1 and then see that to what all islands does it connect. Okay, so let's say if it connects to 2 islands, one on the left, one on the right, I will add the size of the left one, I will add the size of the right one, and then I will add +1 to this for this particular cell. This is one possible option. Similarly, I will do this for all the possible options.
And what do you mean by possible options?
Which are zeros.
Like how do you understand that? Okay, so let's say we have a 0, we want to change it to 1, but how would you understand that you can add the left cell or the right cell or the up cell or the down cell? Like how would you take a call on that? What would you check?
So
in your adjacent cells?
Yeah, I will see that if it is 0, then obviously we are going to add 0. If it is a number, let's say if it is a number 7, which denotes that it is an island of size 7, I will add 7 into this. So this way I will add all the...
So whenever you find a number greater than 0 in the adjacent cell, you will just add to the size, right? Yeah,
even if it is 0, we need not handle it, right? Because it is 0, so anyhow it's not going to make any difference there.
Right. Got it. Okay. Yeah. So we'll just add the size in the 4 directions. That's what you want.
Yes.
And maybe then keep a how do we probably keep a track of the max size when you do for all those things, right?
We'll keep the track that which is maximum.
Okay. And what will be the time complexity for this?
So we are basically traversing each cell, so it will be 10 raised to the power 4 because there are 10 raised to the power 4 number of cells there.
No, I mean okay. So the matrix is a size n into n. So
n square.
That yeah, so it is O of n. Your algorithm is going to be O of n to the power 4. That's what you're saying, or n square.
Yes, and it will be because n is 500, so it will be n square.
Right. So it will be, or you will basically just traversing the matrix, right?
Yeah, basically traversing each cell of the matrix.
Right. So it will be O of n square, not n to the power 4.
Yes.
Cool. It looks good, but I have one case, and not one, but one scenario where things might go all wrong, and I just want to point out that. But before I tell you that, you want to think a bit on a solution, or you want me to give you the hint?
Alright, I'm just thinking of the wrong possibility. Yeah. Yes. There could be, it can go wrong just in case we have an island, okay, and there's a single cell within the island which is marked as 0. So in that case, when I mark that as 1, basically I will think that I'm connecting 4 islands there, but eventually it is the same island. So that would cause me trouble.
Like for this test case you're saying, right?
Yeah, for this test case, this one at the top. For the test case at the top, it will create a problem in this case. So each island should be identified separately. Yeah, if I mark this.
I didn't get your question. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, if I mark this as if this is one of the option for me to mark as 1, and then basically I will be able to. So in this case, what I will think is I have 4 islands: one on the left, one on the right, one on the top, one on the bottom.
Right.
So basically I am adding up same island again and again.
Right, exactly. That's what my point is. So how would you handle that?
Yes, so that's what I'm saying, that we have to identify each of the island uniquely. Each island should be identified uniquely.
Exactly.
So okay. So let's do one thing. Let's keep a mapping. Okay, let's keep a mapping let's give a map, separate map there, and that map will contain the island number, that this is the island number X and this is the size of this island. So I can keep the island number and I can keep the size of the island corresponding to that. Yes. So instead of marking each island with the size, I will mark the island with an identifier or an identity. That ID with which I am marking each of the cells, I will, corresponding to that, I will keep a map of the size. So I think this way I will be able to handle it.
Right. And okay, so how do you handle the case of duplicate island? Once you let's say you have a 0 over here, and you have like tried to change it to 1. So how do you handle that? I understood you will create a map, but
yeah. So first of all, I will start from left. So I will know the identity of the left island. Okay. Let's say if the ID of the left island is 1, then it will give me the size corresponding to this. I will add it into the answer. Then I have the island number 1 already added. Next time when I will go to the top, I will see that it should not be equal to 1. So I will keep a, let's say, an array, maybe an array of to identify that which all islands have I already included into this, or maybe I can keep a map, a small set.
Great, exactly. Great.
Yeah.
Great. Makes sense. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is good. If you can maintain a set for this will be helpful.
Yes.
So you want to code this out?
Yeah, we can code this.
Okay, cool.
So
I will provide you the function. So
okay.
you want to code in which language? Java, C++, Python?
C++.
Anything other?
Yeah.
I will provide you the snippet just to make things a little bit easy for you. So
Okay.
there you go. Just a second, I will copy and paste.
All right. Okay, so we need to return the size of the largest island, and I can write the dfs function here. Void dfs. This function will contain the ID of the island. It will contain the cell int I, int j. This is the particular cell on which I am currently standing on. Then it will contain vector visited, and of course vector grid, and it will contain n and contain m. So first of all, let's say if I am visiting ij, the visited of I comma j will be okay. Do I need to keep a visited? I don't think I need to keep a visited. I can simply make changes in the grid. Can I make changes in the grid itself?
Okay.
Can modify that. Okay, so I will keep the grid.
I'm okay with the visited. I'm okay with anyway. I'm okay with using auxiliary space, but yeah, if you can do it in place, then also.
All right. Okay, so I'm marking this with ID. Obviously I will start the ID with 2. I will not start the ID with 1 because might create maybe some problem. So I will try to explore in the 4 directions, 4 possible. I will also keep a size here, and size, take this as a reference. So yeah, I will be going into 4 directions. Let me create a vector of int directions of size 4, 1, 0, -1, 0, 1. So this will help me go to the 4 directions for int x is equal to 0, x is smaller than 5, x plus plus 3, 4, x is smaller than 4, 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Yeah, x is smaller than 5, x plus plus. So
how is this 5? Why is this 5?
Because the size of the direction is 5, right? So basically I'm going to each of the elements. This direction area signifies that if I pick up the starting 2, right? So let's say if I want to go to the adjacent cell, I can make this
No,
new I.
I got it, but uh, you have to keep 8 coordinates, right? Because there are 4 positions. Why are you keeping 5?
I need to keep 8 coordinates. No, okay. So basically these two together, like these two together, I'm just going to show you with the help of this.
I got it. So
So
you're going to like take 2 consecutive elements, right? That's what you want
yes,
to do.
yes,
Like
yeah,
that?
yes.
Okay,
This
cool.
new j will be equal to direction of x plus 1. So that's what I'm going to do, and for that I think I should take it as 4. X should be equal to 3. Yeah, let's take it as 4 so that I don't exceed. Okay, so this is the new I and new j, and I need to check whether if they are the right places to go. Right places means that ni should be greater than equal to 0, and new j should be greater than equal to 0, and new I should be smaller than n, and new j should be smaller than m. So these and that should be equal to 1. Yeah, and grid of I comma j should be equal to 1. New I and new j should be equal to 1, the place I'm going to visit. Okay, so if this is the case, then I will go to that place. Just a second, I'm going to, yeah. Alright, make the DFS call to this place. DFS of same ID, then I and new I, new j, and then grid, and then n and m and size. Okay, and here I will do size plus plus. If it is, because I'm reaching to the correct cell only, I will I will do the size plus plus here itself. So yeah, this way I will be able to calculate the size as well. And here I will keep a map of type int comma int. Let us keep unordered map of size int of type int, and start the TFS. Let's initialize one variable id, initialize with 2 is the id, and for int I is equal to 0, I smaller than n, I plus plus, for int j is equal to 0, j smaller than m, j plus plus, if grid of I comma j is, if it is equal to 1, then only we are going to apply the DFS. Okay, so we have DFS of, what do we have in DFS? ID plus plus, and then I comma j comma grid comma n comma m comma size, and let me keep a variable here, size, initializing this with 0, and then alright, let's not do id plus plus here because we also need to maintain the entry in the map. So m of id is equal to the size. We have the size as well, right? Okay. Alright, so after this we have the grid ready. Now we need to explore the possible options that we have, right? So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. So by any chance you're marking this grid, you're marking with the ID, right?
yeah, I'm mapping with the id.
Okay. Okay. Got it. And the map shows the size of the map. Okay. Cool. Got it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so here let me do another for loop. I'm just copying this. Okay, yeah,
Sure.
all right. So I have a loop over here. It's going to every cell, and like if it is 0, then this is a possible option for me to change to 1, right? So by
Right.
changing it to 1, I will be able to access 4 of the places. Again, let me use this thing over here. And yeah, so these are 4 directions that I have, and just a second. Yeah,
It's fine. I don't need to do the indentations for now. Just continue
okay,
with it.
all right. So we are going to all the 4 directions. These are the new I and new j, and if it is well within the range, if it is well within the range, then I can access it. Okay, and I need to identify the ID of this. ID is already written on the cell, so
Okay.
before that I am also maintaining a set here. This set will denote that what all IDs have I already used. Okay, unordered set of int, it will used IDs. Okay, so
Got it. Got it.
yeah, and I'm just avoiding the situations when this new I and new j is equal to 1, because that should, okay, would it ever be equal to 1? I don't think it will be ever equal to 1. So the meeting got ended. So yes, so I was saying that I will avoid the situation, this grid of and I and nj will never be equal to 1. We have already eliminated all the ones, so this could be equal to 0. In the case of 0, I'm just avoiding them. Okay, anyways, if it is 0, okay, even if I don't avoid that, then it will be fine. Okay, let us just avoid them as of now. It's not equal to 0. I can basically pick up, I can basically add the size. This is my possible answer, right? Int option, this is equal to 0. So if used IDs dot find map of so not map of the ID itself, right? The ID is grid I comma j, new I comma
I
new
just want to
Yeah.
stop you here.
Mhm.
So, like, why do you need to find? You are using a set, right? So, what does a set generally do? I mean, it
Set-
contains
yeah.
unique elements, right?
Yeah, it
So,
contains
do we
unique
need
elements.
to find? Do we need to like have a check for the find, or is this required?
So it would be required because we don't know that like on which particular iteration I'm currently on. Like if you are saying to think in direction of keeping using the size of the set, then in that case I don't think that we'll have to keep another variable which will denote me that in what all directions have I already visited, right?
No, that's fine. But you are keeping track of the IDs, right? So you are only going to insert the insert the IDs, right? So in
Yeah.
that case, even if you like, let's get to the basic functionality of sets. So let's say that inside a set, if you try to insert an element that is already there in the set, what will happen?
Simply it will not be inserted because it is already there in the set.
Exactly, right? So in that case, do you need to use the find function, or you can just blindly insert into the set and just let the set take care of it?
No, I actually need to check, right, that what particular, like, whether or not should I include this. So I need to check that whether this ID is already present inside the set or not.
What if you don't use the find function? What if you just blindly insert? What happens?
I can then make the size comparisons, like whether the size changed or not after inserting this. That's the other thing that we can do.
Okay, I'll go ahead and maybe have some other implementation in mind. Okay.
Yeah, so we will find if it is equal to n, which means that basically it is not present.
Okay.
It's used ID dot. ids dot end. Then in that case it was not present already, and now we can insert it inside the set. Used ids dot insert map of grid of new I and new j. This id I have inserted inside the set, and yeah, this option plus equal to map of grid of new I and new j. Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Yes, and then finally I will make the comparisons. This was the option was inside this. Yeah, here at this level I can make the comparison. Answer is equal to maximum of answer comma whatever option I have plus 1 for that, to make that cell as 1. That's the contribution of that cell. And yeah, finally I can return the answer. Can declare the answer over here. Yeah.
Okay. So you sure you handled all the cases?
I think yeah, we have handled all the cases. 0 1 0 minus 1.
What if what about this case that I just mentioned? If there's like all ones, then what would your answer be?
In that case I will never be able to reach to any option, like any of the options. That will, in that case my answer would return 0. So yeah, that I should need to handle. There are all ones. Okay, so in that case what I can do is okay, yeah, check for that case. The id of in that case would be equal to 2. That's for sure. The id will be equal to 2. Maybe let's say if there are all zeros, then that will be handled, but if there are all ones, then the id will be equal to 2. So I will check it here itself. So if the map of id is equal to n cross m, basically not id 2.
Okay, just a second. Let's say that you have a connected component, you have an island like this, 1 1 1 0. In that case, you have only one component, that is one island, one set of island. In that case, your ID will also be 2, right? In that case, what you're trying to do, it is going to return 3 but not 4, because
no. Just have a look here. In this case, if m of 2 is equal to n into m.
M of 2, okay.
In that case, we will return n into m. So basically, if all the cells are covered, then only we will go to this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think this works. Okay, cool.
Yes.
This will work. This will be good. Okay. That's mostly it. I think we are almost out of time. This is already 40 minutes. I think 35-40 minutes which I've took. So coming back to the feedback, I think first of all you did pretty well to come up with a solution because it's a pretty hard question. I would have personally used an union find, but whatever approach you used, it's really great and it is working. So your communication was also very good. Like you kept on communicating throughout the interview, and as a result, you were able to draw out hints from the interviewer. So that was a very good sign, and I would like ask you to continue doing that. Like never ever in the interview, I felt that you were kind of getting into the silent mode, and you were thinking not very loud. So that's a very good plus point as if you compare to the other candidates. What I've already seen. So, and again, like your concerns about data structures and algorithms is really great. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to come up with a solution. Your coding was also good, I would say, in terms of you handled most of the cases. However, for the feedback part, I would suggest you two things. Yeah, also the requirement clarification was also good. I saw that you were clarifying your doubts. But just two feedback that I want to give you, that maybe you can look up for clean coding, right, and name
Yeah.
your variables a bit properly and give proper spaces, like like this.
Yes.
And maybe like name your variables a little bit properly and give meaningful names. So that comes under the clean coding part, what we call a production ready code, right? And also maybe you could have like dry run your cases with a couple of test cases before submitting to the, like, before the final submission. For example, you missed out this test case, right? So
Yeah.
these are the two things that you can consider in an improvement area. However, like, since again it was like not an easy question and you solved it within time, so definitely it would be higher from my side. So yeah, good job.
So these were some really good feedbacks given by the interviewer. You should make the code look very clean, because sometimes what happens is, even if you are not able to find the optimal solution, the interviewer look at the quality of the code, the production quality of the code that you have written there. So that is very important. Variable naming is very important, and covering the corner cases are also very important. If you want to check out another solution to this problem, you can check out Ridhi's channel. I will provide the link in the description. There he's uploading the solution to this problem. All right. So let us meet in another mock interview. Bye bye.